Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be giving my own personal review of Hogwarts Legacy, the new open world game set in the Wizarding World introduced in Harry Potter that just released on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Let me start off by saying that I am not a professional video game reviewer. As a matter of fact, this is the first one that I've ever done. And I am going to link a review of Hogwarts Legacy done by a channel that I trust a lot and I'm always watching before I purchase a game. But a lot of people have been asking my initial thoughts on the game and whether or not I'd recommend it, so I thought I'd put a short video together and just go through some of the good and some of the not so good and whether or not I would actually recommend purchasing the game. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first, let's start off with the good, or in this case, amazing. Avalanche did a phenomenal job creating the Wizarding World. The atmosphere, the aesthetics, the music, it truly is a masterpiece, and they did a great job honoring the world that so many of us have grown to love. Not only is the map larger than I expected, but it has a ton of things to see and do, besides even the main quests, and these are things like random events, references to the books, secrets, and so much more. I have loved just walking around or flying around, exploring this world and experiencing all the little details that they've added. And you can really see that love was put into this game. They really honored the books and the movies and the lore, and you can just see it in every aspect of the game. It also feels very familiar, but also different, even with the music, just because we get to step into it and experience it for ourselves rather than just experiencing it through the eyes of, say, like Harry Potter. Another thing that they did really well is with the movement and flight in this game. Moving your character around, whether it's walking, climbing, or rolling, just feels really smooth. And also, I didn't expect to enjoy broom flight as much as I do. I thought, honestly, I would be spending most of this game flying everywhere on my hippogriff. And while obviously I do enjoy that, and I do that a lot, there's something so incredibly satisfying about hopping on a broom and just racing around the map. There are some small things here or there with the camera, which I'll touch base on in the not so good portion of the video. But overall, I am very impressed and happy with the transportation options in this game. And speaking about transportation, the game does a really great job of giving you options for getting around the rather large map. You can use a broom or a magical creature, or you have the option to use the flu system. So around the map, there's in a lot of different areas, whether it's in Hogwarts or in Hogsmeade or just out in the world, there's a ton of different flu locations that you can discover. And once you've discovered one of them, it's going to turn green on the map, and then you can always quickly fast travel there. And this is super useful, especially if you're getting ready to start a mission and you find that you need to quickly sell some items or you need to pick up potions. You can fast travel there, and then you can quickly fast travel back to where you were. Now, some people might not like this because it does break the immersion, but I'm really thankful for it because traveling can be as easy as opening up the map and hitting a button, which can cut down a lot of frustration if you find yourself really far away from where you need to be. Next, let's talk about the combat, because I haven't really mentioned it yet, and it is a huge part of the game. I think that Hogwarts Legacy does a great job with the combat. It's super fun and engaging, feels really smooth, and offers a variety of different options when it comes to approaching a fight. There's a lot of different spells and combinations that can be used, magical plants, potions, and stealth. This means that no two fights are the same, and you can mix up different tactics to keep things fresh and exciting. There's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to switching between spell wheels, but once you have that down, you can quickly switch between combos and change it up based on the enemy that you're fighting. Another thing that Hogwarts Legacy gets really right is the customization options. For example, you can equip the best stat items you have, but you can change them to look like any other item you've picked up, or you can hide it completely. Have a hat that gives you great stats, but you hate to wear hats? Just hide it. Have an outfit that gives great stats, but it isn't your personal style? Just change it. I really appreciate this because there is nothing I hate more than wearing something ugly or just having to own something that I don't like or doesn't fit my personal style just so I can get better stats. So I really like that they put this in the game. Also, you can customize the room of requirement to look exactly the way you want. You can conjure and arrange tables, lamps, potions and potting stations, even pictures. And of course, my favorite are the vivariums that house your magical creatures. And even inside these, you can add so many different things: trees, buildings, feeding stations, breeding pens. There's lots of items that you can add in there, and you can really spend as much or as little time as you want doing this. So let's flip it now and talk about the not so good, because of course no game is perfect, and there are definitely some things in this game that I wish they did differently or that could be improved upon. So let's talk about a few of them now. Number one, the looting system. The looting system is very similar to other games. You open up chests and you're going to acquire a random item with random rarity and stats. The problem is there's so many chests that you're opening up, and not only are you just often picking up lower stat gear or even the same gear that you already have, but your gear slots fill up so fast when you first start. You have a very limited amount of space. And this means that you need to constantly be visiting a shop often, like before missions, right after a mission, to sell items. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself unable to pick up more gear when you're in a mission unless you destroy items that you have, and that means you're not getting any gold from it. Now, focusing on Merlin trials early on can be really helpful because it does open up more inventory slots, but overall, I do find the looting system to be really tedious. Number two, the lack of a morality system in the game is a problem for me. The issue with having no morality system is that there's no real consequences for your actions in the game. And no matter your feelings on using unforgivable curses, in the Harry Potter world, it's not acceptable. Hence the name Unforgivable. In this game, you can use an unforgivable in Hogwarts, you can use it in front of an Auror, and nothing happens, which is really unrealistic for this world, and it does lead to a somewhat shallow gameplay. There is the illusion that your decisions are really affecting the outcome of the game, but in reality, you can use whatever magic you want, you can make whatever decisions you want, whether they're good or bad, and you can still get both endings depending on your responses just in one particular mission. Number three. Classes really are underutilized in this game. They mostly play out as cutscenes, and I really think that this was a huge missed opportunity to use these classes to learn potions, spells, etc. For example, instead of going to Hogsmeade and buying a recipe for a potion, learning how to brew it in a potions class could have been really fun. From dicing the ingredients, adding them in the correct order, so on and so forth. It really would have added to that feeling of being a student in Hogwarts, going to these classes and learning all these things. I can see how that could have maybe gotten a bit tedious as well, and they wanted to keep the gameplay going, but I really do think that that could have added a really special element to the game. Number four. They made this beautiful world with so many details, but I can't have my character just sit down and enjoy it. For example, the Hufflepuff common room is gorgeous and it's so calming, it's beautiful, and I'd honestly just like to sit down and take in the scenery and the conversation, and it's kind of a bummer that I can't do that. Maybe that's really nitpicking a bit, but there are so many times I think, I just want to sit down and I just want to take this all in. And I want to look at the details, and I just want to be in this place and the ambiance. And I'm just surprised that there's couches in there, and I'm just surprised that there's no option to sit anywhere in the game that I've seen so far. Number five, there are definitely some issues with the camera and FOV. And it could be that I just haven't played around with the settings enough, but an example of this would be when you're on your broom, you can't keep your height and look down to the ground below, because what happens is looking down causes you to descend. And what I want to do is I want to be able to sit up high on my broom, keep that height, and I want to be able to look down. So many times I go up on a broom so that I can kind of get a field of view of everything that's below me, but it's really hard to kind of keep that height and look down at the same time. And again, it could just be that I haven't found the right settings for this, but it does seem like something that might be limited with the camera. Also, inside buildings, the field of view gets a bit limited. One thing I like about Red Dead Redemption is just that you have the ability to change your camera and how far out it is. So I can kind of like be really close to my character, or I can kind of just like zoom out a bit so that I can see more of my character. And I really wish that we had this option in Hogwarts as well. It's not a major issue, and I don't notice it most of the time, but I do think that the camera is definitely something that could be improved upon. Finally, they did a really good job filling the open world with a lot of events, but it can get a bit repetitive at times, especially when it comes to things like the Merlin trials. The map is rather large, and there are a ton of Merlin trials to do. And there is some variety, but after a while it does get a little bit boring. Now, mixing up exploration and missions can really help to break this up so it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. But if you're doing a lot of exploring on the map, you're going to come to Merlin trial after Merlin trial after Merlin trial, and after a while just going to be like, ugh, it's another Merlin trial. So just keep that in mind, that while there is a lot to do on the map, if you're just doing straight exploration and you're going from one thing to the next, you are going to notice a bit of repetitive things to do. Okay, so this brings me to whether or not I recommend purchasing this game. I'll start by saying that I'm coming at this from a place of being a huge Harry Potter fan, and I would say if you love the Harry Potter series and you love open world games, then you're probably going to really enjoy playing Hogwarts Legacy. The attention to detail in creating this world truly is phenomenal, and it feels like you're stepping right into the pages of the books. I think if you're not a Harry Potter fan or you don't know anything about the Harry Potter series, but you love open world games, I really think this would still be very enjoyable to play. There are definitely references that a non-Harry Potter fan isn't going to know the significance of, but the story is independent and it does stand up on its own. And the game really is going to give you all the knowledge that you need to appreciate the world. The world itself, it's beautiful. There are tons of details. The combat is smooth, fun, and engaging. There's also a variety of things to do, and the game doesn't hold your hand the entire time. Once you get to a certain point, you have the freedom to explore and engage in the content in the way that you want to, whether it's random events on the map or exploring, doing side quests or relationship quests, customizing your room, hanging out with magical creatures, or getting right into the main missions. I believe that the positives of this game far outweigh any of the negatives that I see or complaints that I might have. And while a recent article says that no DLCs are currently in the works, I think that this has the potential to change based on how successful this game has been. There are so many possibilities for DLCs, everything from Quidditch to putting in Expecto Patronum, also new storylines for your character. I really think that they've created something very special that can be built upon, and this game has completely exceeded my expectations. And if you enjoy open world games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and God of War Ragnarok, I don't think you'll be disappointed playing this one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.